Oh, since we're talking about food, actually, my favorite is mac and cheese. So, you got that? You got that? And can I tell you, from the moment Pastor Jay put up that picture, in fact, like the moment he introduced the series of red letters, not red letters, right after he was done with red letters, and he put up that picture of the overloaded yellow bucky, I was really like, yo, wow. I could relate so much to it, to the point where I was like, I cannot wait for this. I was anticipating this. And I remember him asking, he asked, in order for a car to go faster, would it need a bigger engine or to release some weight? And guys, to be honest, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, bigger engine, because that's just how I've been trained to think. Because I've been trained to think that in order for me to do more, to increase myself, I need to always do more. For example, it's always been like from primary school even, in classes and tests, in order to do better, to be the top, you need to always do more, put in more effort, put in more time. Even for extramurals, if you want to be the best, for example, at athletics, you need to put in more effort, put in more time. So I allowed that same thinking to dictate everything of my life. And now, with release to increase, I was being challenged, oh no, you need to do less now. And I was like, wow, but it doesn't make any logical sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make proper scientific sense to do that. And I remember that God says, my ways are higher. My thoughts are higher than yours. And so I was like, okay, cool. Let me listen to what God has to tell me. And I listened attentively. And honestly, what helped me was Freedom Course too, because I was doing this Freedom Course while I was also going through Release to Increase. And with the whole Freedom Course of letting go and then Release to Increase to let go, everything was just emphasized. So guys, also do Freedom Course if you like, definitely do it. And so with every single message that was preached, I cannot say that like one specifically was the only one that stood out for me. I think that everything stood out for me. Already from the first one, which said, endure the pain of discipline, disregarding the lure of lethargy, that stood out to me. To the last one, which said, recognize the weight you carry and letting go of that weight to increase in momentum. Everything stood out for me, but my absolute favorite, and the one that I could relate to the most, was releasing the pursuit of happiness to increase a life of righteousness. And why this stood out to me so much was already, okay, so guys, okay, I know I'm smiling right now, but like, back then when I was younger, I had the most grumpiest face. I would be walking around the mall and people would be like, Steph, are you okay? Like, ask my siblings, ask my parents, I had the most grumpiest face ever. And I never understood why. I just never saw the reason to smile unless there was a need for excitement or something. And I had the most grumpiest face, and people would always be like, Steph, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm good. Like a few years later into teenagehood, Steph, bro, are you okay? Guys, I'm okay. But then it got to a point of me thinking, wait, am I okay? Am I really? And that's when I think the pursuit of happiness came about. Already, I think if I was 15 or something, I asked my good friend Google, I was like, hey Google, how am I supposed to be happy? And then Google's bestie, Wikipedia, came and was like, hey Steph, in order to be happy, here are the following steps. Go look in the mirror and go tell yourself you're happy. And I'm like, none of those work, by the way, guys. None of them. I still had the most grumpiest face. And later on in life, I realized I searched for happiness in friendships, in academics, in my gifts and talents. And at the end of the day, like, it would give me temporary happiness, but it was never long-standing. It was always short-term. It was never enough for it to be permanent. My happiness was always short-lived and temporary. And then this would have been the perfect time for God to cue in and be like, but Steph, I can be your source of joy. I won't ever let you down. Store your treasures in heaven, not here on earth, Steph. Listen here, never have I ever forsaken you. It would have been the perfect time for God to cue that in, and He did. But then, when that happened, it dawned on me that my problem was actually letting go of control. I was so in need of control, and I knew that if I had to give God if I had to release some things and give him my happiness and my joy, I knew that I could never be in control. It would mean that God would have to have control of everything. And I was just not having it. I was like, no, Lord. How will I be able to control this? Because you see, with your friendships, you can always be, oh, I choose you. You can be the source of my happiness. With my academics, I can always wake up and be like, I'm going to work harder. I can control this. But then, when they let you down, who are you going to go to? And that's when God came to me and he was like, I can be your source of all of that. You do not have to work on your academics. You do not have to, obviously don't slack off completely now, but I am there for you. I can be your source of joy. You don't have to count on your academics to make you happy. And that's when I saw that, because I was so scared that like, hey God, but like, how do I know what plans you have for me? Like, how do I know that my happiness won't be jeopardized? And then I remember Jeremiah 29 verse 11, the famous verse, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. And I live by that, and when I live by that, it gave me so much more ease. And I could live through that so much easier. And just to leave you, I want to leave you with an encouragement. This world will always know how to sell happiness. They've got their 2 seconds of happiness, bottle of happiness, and they will always know how to sell it to you. But why should you settle for that when you can have an everlasting joy with God? Thank you so much.